On this episode of Carnage, the ute is on its own wheels and rolling for the first time in 5 months. Well, it's no secret that the ute is taking a little bit longer than we first thought, you know, but it is a much more serious build than we really planned to execute right from the get-go, you know. We did say it was going to be a serious build from the start, but this has turned into a lot more serious build than we ever thought possible. But it is getting close. We're getting towards the pointy end. So now I need to get into the interior. I need to lay down our insulation. I need to put seats in position. I need to mock up where we're going to need the shifter going to be. So I want to know where the shifter position is going to be, lock that down. My 15 button CAN keypad, work that out as well. I want to put it near the shifter as well, so I might have to make a little position for that. But yeah, things are progressing, so let's make it progress. So it's time to sort out the interior. I know we spent a lot of time dry icing all the insulation off the floor, but then we're going to put more insulation on the floor because, yeah, we don't want it to sound like a 44-gallon drum when you're driving around on the street. But the insulation we'll be putting in there will be a lot nicer and neater than the factory stuff, which is basically laid on like a mad woman shitting. So, yeah. We've got our Tough Mounts drop box in there. Now I've just got it sitting there at the moment. You do have to do a little modification, you know, cut it square to suit that. But we've already done that. Now it sits in there. What I want to do is work out, all right, we know where the seat position is going to be, but once I'm sitting in there, I want to work out where the shifter position is going to be. But to do that, I also want to put some insulation on the floor. So we have these mats to put on the floor. We're going to start laying some of this stuff down. So we lay this down, we get the seat in there, work out the seat position, then shifter position, then work out if we're going to bolt it down into the drop box or whether we're going to mount it back on a pedestal or something like that. We'll work out how it's going to sit with me belted into the car, because last thing you want is a shifter you can't actually reach when you're fully belted into the car. But yeah, and then once we've got that sorted, I want to work out where I'm putting my 15 button keypad, which I might mount behind the shifter here somewhere. So work out shifter position, then we'll work out keypad position, because I want to be able to touch that again while I'm strapped into the car ready to go. But anyway, we've never used this stuff before. I guess let's give it a go and see if it's any good. So each one of these packs comes with 12 of these sheets. They're 300 by 500. It looks like that's going to be a good fitment right there. So, and we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sheets, I think, forward. And then we can go one up the back, same up the other side. But I've got 2 packs, so I can go pretty much good coverage. I should be able to cover most of this cab, maybe up a fair way into on the back firewall and forward on the footwell. So yeah, now they say before you lay this stuff down, give it a good wipe over with wax and grease remover so you get good adhesion. So we get some of that here. Time to get high. Oh baby. Lead us. Woo! So it's my understanding that it's not the done way to like peel the whole thing off and then whack it on down, because you want to massage it into all the little bits and pieces there, okay, which once you sort of lay it on that side and that side, you can't get it into there because it's stuck there and there. So you kind of have to lay it on. So let's try that. It means I'm going to have to peel this side first. So we've laid our first sheet, and you can actually see that the mark I made before, it falls short of that because it has to find all the little grooves and stuff in the floor, and that will shorten up your distance. Having a little roller like this, that's the way to go. Get it in all those spots, but it actually looks really good. Pretty happy with that. So now we have to do the next part, which includes some seat hole positions. So we're going to make sure that we, well, mark them so I can work out where I need to cut. So if you're having trouble getting the roller into some of the smaller crevices, use the butt end of the tool, get it in there and push it in, and it'll help form it up real good. That's awesome. Although my roller is proving to be a bit second-hand, maybe I should have bought the genuine product. So to find the holes, you can run the butt over it. I know it's there because of that line, and I know it's in line there, so forget that and go boom, look at that. There is our hole in the floor. Alrighty, well that made that nice and simple. Alright, so we've got our holes there for our seat. Okay, let's keep going. I think I need to go buy a new roller. So I ducked down the street to Autobarn, grabbed some better scissors and a roller. So that roller should be much better than what we were using. Oh wow, this roller is so much better. The trick. Alright, we're not going to bore you with the rest of the install, so we'll skip ahead and we'll show you what it looks like when it's all done. Well, what you see there is one box of material, and it's looking pretty good. I do have another box, and we'll use the other box to do, you know, the back wall and maybe even just some of these missing bits and that sort of thing, but that looks pretty good. Pretty happy with how that's all turned out. So we'll roll this bit in, and I think that'll do us for today. This stuff is hard on your knees, I've got to say. nice and cozy. All right, let's get myself in there. Okay, so we have our floor insulation in. It's looking pretty good. I still got to do bits on the back firewall. I've done some of it, but we'll finish that off later once we've finished running all our cables and lines. Let's have a look at this. All right, drop box, shifter. So if that's like that, that's like that. Do I want it down like that? Do I want it up like that? So I'm looking at our shifter position in the drop box, and I've got to say I'm not a mega fan. With the seat, I am sitting up higher, I guess, than I might normally be in this car. Let's check the steering wheel position. Yeah, no, it's about right, but the shifter feels really low, and I don't want it that low. The drop box typically allows you to mount your shifters down under consoles and things like that, but it's not really a consideration in this car because I'm not going to run a console. So, what I might do, let's have a look at this. Now I could go with a flat deck, which is what I've done in the Lexan, and that works quite well, but I think I want the shifter up a bit higher. So let's flip the drop box upside down, and that feels good. Actually, it feels real good. So now I'll be able to, before I would not have been able to put the car in neutral or park fully belted in, but there, yep, I think that is going to, it's going to do the trick. So I might have to do a couple mods to our drop box, make it a raised box, and mount our shifter up there. All right, let's do that. Well, there have been some changes, and we're not just talking about my haircut. I have painted the roll cage, mounted the seats, put carpet back in, but this is not the carpet that's going to be in the car full time, because we ordered carpet. We got told 2 to 5 days, and that actually means 2 to 3 weeks, and so we're not going to have the right carpet in it for MotorEx. We're 2 days out from MotorEx, so this is the way it's going to go. But we have mounted the seats. I've positioned the shifter. I've had another change of mind there. I kind of liked the positioning of the Lexan shifter, so we've gone with that similar positioning, but I have angled it. Obviously I'm going to attach that properly. It's just tech screwed to the floor at the moment because, you know, the car is not going to be running for MotorEx. I've already resigned myself to that. We don't have a tail shaft, we don't have the axles. They're on order, they are coming, but the car won't be running for MotorEx. So we're going to roll her in there. She will look mostly complete, but will not be running. Obviously got McCann keypad mounted there as well. I'm really happy with how that all sits. Dash is in. I have to just do a couple little more interior bits, but the inside of the car is pretty much complete. So, well, other than the console but bit under the dash as well, which we need to find a bench seat style console setup, which we're just having a little bit of trouble sourcing at the moment, but we will get there. Still, it's not looking too bad, and this is the way the interior will go to MotorEx. Let's have a look at what's changed up front. So some sharp eyes may notice there's some changes up the front here. Mainly, like I said, we're getting it ready for MotorEx, so we want it in show spec. You may notice that the coils are different. We'll put the ProFlow coils on it for the show because it's going to be on the VPW stand, so obviously we want to show off the VPW products. Obviously we are going to go back to the Haltech coils, and part of the reason was that The Pro Flow leads, because they're made for LS1 coils, didn't plug into the Haltech coils and stuff like that. But then these leads don't also plug into the Pro Flow coils because they're LS1 coils and not Haltech coils. Fun and games. But anyway, it will look mostly complete for the show. One of the big things though is we've had to change the entire front of the engine. Now I've talked about pulley spacing in the past. You know, you've got the VT to VZ style pulleys and then the VE pulleys. We were running the VE setup, which was tighter to the block. But then we went and bought a power steering pump, and the VE mount that mounts the power steering pump interferes with the turbo header. So we've had to go to a earlier model power steering mount, which is fine, except it moved where all the pulleys needed to be. So now we've got a VT style water pump, a VT style alternator. Bubba's off chasing parts for me at the moment, so he's grabbing me a VT style balancer, which we'll put on the car shortly. But yes, we've had to change the entire front of the motor just to make it all work. Yeah, shit's been happening. So, but we are getting there. We've got our remote oil filter located. We've got our scavenge pump located. I've just got to do the lines and stuff for that. But right now, with 2 days out from MotorEx, we kind of need this thing to just look complete. But yeah, she's not going to fire up for MotorEx, unfortunately. So today is probably the last day of actually making and fitting stuff. Let's get it all fitted. Tomorrow we'll be cleaning and detailing and make sure it's all looking right. But yeah, this is where we're at the moment. And then after MotorEx, we'll bring it back here and we'll finish off the last bits and pieces that need finishing. The list is getting smaller all the time. But yeah, that's going to happen after MotorEx. And then we can get into the business of firing it up and running on the dyno and all that sort of stuff. It's not far away now, but it's not going to be done in 2 days. So anyway, let's keep kicking on with it and yeah, make it happen. So Bubba's come back from his little foraging mission. We have a balancer. It's going to be the right spacing or alignment for our new pulleys and stuff. So now we need to get it up in there, which is always fun, especially with the engine in the car and the light in my eyes. Come on there. Get on there, come on.
A few moments later.
Right, so fitting our balancer has turned into a bit of an issue. We've had to make up an installation tool because what happens is when you try and put a balancer on an LS, the keyway is short of the balancer. So you've got to tighten the balancer on while trying to line up that keyway perfectly. If you get it wrong, you got to like pull it off again and then go again and pull it off again and go again. Because if you try and tighten it up without the keyway sliding in, you'll stuff up your keyway and you'll stuff up your balancer. Ask us how we know. Anyway, so what we've done is we've gone down and bought some high tensile 16mm rod and put a nut on there with some washers, and we're pulling the balancer on that way. And it seems to be working. We have got it lined up perfectly. And this is pulling it on. Nice and smooth, which is pretty rare for me. I do like some ugga-dugga action. All right, so it looks like we've reached the end of our bolt, or our thread, but that is on a long way. Now we can put the bolt in there, pull it on proper, and this will be done. Our installation tool, patent pending. Let's crank her up a bit. What is it, 270 foot-pounds or something like that?
Isn't it normally 3 dugga-duggas?
you know what? Oh, I'm happy with that. While we're under here, I forgot to mention that on the weekend I came in and put some shocks and springs in this thing. So we've got Petter's 9010 front struts, lowered springs, also put some Protex discs and pads in this as well. So just slotted rotors on this one. But yeah, looks pretty good. And the ride height has come up mint. I'll show you that in a sec when we drop it down. Two fingers, mint. Well, the ute is done. Well, sort of done. It's what we call SEMA ready, so, or in this case, MotorEx ready. It has no tail shaft, it has no axles, it doesn't run, but it looks like it could, so that's a good thing. And it's going to be on the VPW stand at MotorEx, so it can show off all that beautiful VPW stuff, all their ProFlash stuff, all their RTS stuff, the Street Pro wheels. They have so many brands and they're all represented in this car, and well, it is looking pretty good, I've got to say. But like I said, she's not running, but the light at the end of the tunnel, we can see it. So after MotorEx, I have a list of things to do. It's a longish list, but it's not a complicated list. We have solved all the big problems, and yeah, she's getting close. But like I said, it's going to MotorEx this weekend. We'll put it on the stand, show it off to everyone, and then after MotorEx, we're going to get it running. You're going to see it on the dyno. It's going to run numbers down the track, and you're going to see it all on future episodes of Carnage.